Hey everybody, welcome to the Brand Design Masters podcast and also the Brand Muse interview series on YouTube. I am here with Gavin Bell from the Funnel Academy, and Gavin and I are at Social Media Marketing World 2020, and we are in a hallway. So it may be loud, people may walk between us and the camera, so warning there. But Gavin is a Facebook ads expert, and he works with a lot of solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and people who are building personal brands. And we connected on Twitter before the conference, and I thought it would be great to get him on the show and talk about what he does and how it can help you guys. So welcome, Gavin.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so there's two parts to the business that I have. Is I've got an agency, a Facebook ad agency. We work with larger organizations, brands to run their ads and build out their funnels and their offers for them. And then the Funnel Academy, which is our membership site where we work with solopreneurs and smaller businesses to help them do exactly what we do with the agency. So help them to create content, build their brand, build their funnels, and help them with their advertising as well.
Do you have to know anything going into the Funnel Academy about Facebook ads, or can you just go in like
Totally, you can go.
Newbie?
Yeah, so I'm a massive fan of step-by-step processes and frameworks. So I kind of have designed it's a membership site, and there's a lot of courses in there, but it's designed in a step-by-step format. So we have a roadmap where you can go in, and we start with like mindset. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So like strategy thinking.
Yeah, because if somebody comes in and they're not used to spending money to acquire a customer, for example, the idea of spending money on Facebook and not getting results is kind of scary. So we need to focus on
That's me,
that.
actually.
Yeah, it's most people.
Yeah.
You need to so we focus on how do we take the emotion out of decisions in advertising and so focus on logic. And then we go into let's create content so we can build this brand, and we build the audience, and then we help them then run the ads to build the audience further and then drive that audience into hopefully buying from them.
So you have to think really holistically in terms of, your customer who's going through the Funnel Academy, their entire ecosystem, whether they have any kind of a content engine at all yet, or what their digital footprint is. Do they have a website? What social platforms are they on? I mean, it's a pretty complicated set of variables that you have to address with your students. How do you even go approach that?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because when I first set up the business 5 years ago, and we were running ads for people, one of the biggest hurdles I came into all the time was we would run ads for people, but they were building their own websites, their own funnels, their own offers, and oftentimes we'd be running ads and we'd not be getting the results. That's not because the ads weren't good enough, it was because the place we were sending them to wasn't good enough. And the client and the customer didn't understand, copywriting and building a good landing page and a good offer and all these types of things.
Right.
And I was like, this is a massive roadblock for me, because it means I can only work with people that have this already in place.
It's affecting your results.
Exactly. And so I started to slowly move into doing the ads and the funnel for people, so we can kind of take that problem out of there. But then you run into other problems, such as you can generate leads for a business, but then if they can't follow up with that business, then there's a problem there too.
Right.
So, and I mean, that's kind of, the academy is 6 months old. It still needs to be improved, but that's kind of where I'm going with it. Is we have the set roadmap, which is, okay, if you come in, what are the very first things that you need to do to get from A to B? And then we're bringing in experts to do workshops now on very specific things, such as we've got one on podcasting coming in, and various other aspects like SEO, website, all these things that are still important.
Right.
But we can bring other people in to teach those subjects, because they're still important. But my opinion is, if you're building a brand through creating content and you've got a good offer and you can start to build your audience, you can get results. Some of the things in marketing are, the tip of the iceberg, the 5%, the 0.5% that we can work on, and those are things that can come after.
So in the academy, is it video training? Is it a live community? What are the pieces of it?
Yeah, so the majority of it is video training, and then we have a Facebook group for any support, and we do a monthly Q&A call as well. So I believe we also have a pro tier as well, where people get a call with me every 2 weeks, and I'll go in and actually work on their ads and stuff too. I believe we're in a place right now where there's so much information out there, so many courses, so many memberships, blood, etc. And I believe that for anyone to stand out, we have to kind of step above the information and try and provide like implementation or help people implement. I had a Facebook ads course before I built membership. It's a general lesson I learned was the majority of people that bought the course didn't take any action on it because it was just information. And so I was like, how can we build something where we can provide information, but we also help people implement as well? So with the Academy, with the monthly Q&A calls, and we've got the pro tier, so they're all trying to get people to actually take action so they get the results. Because if you're a course creator or a brand, or even creating content, if it's not a course, if people aren't implementing it, they're not going to get results.
And it reflects on you.
And it reflects on you, exactly.
Right. So you were telling me just before we sat down and turned on the recorder that you haven't always done this, and that 5 years ago you were kind of doing something else. Talk about that transition in your career. One of the things I discuss a lot on my channel and my content is those sorts of kind of side jobs in people's careers. They're not always linear. They're not like a ladder. They're more like a web. And so it sounds like you have kind of gone through a couple of those jogs in the last 5 years, or maybe just before 5 years. What were those like?
Yeah, so my first business was a business where I was working with personal trainers and fitness professionals to put them into corporate environments to run corporate well-being classes for businesses. And I love health, I love fitness, and so I wanted to go into that space, so I thought. And the whole premise of that business was if we can have healthy, happy staff, it's good for absenteeism, it's good for employee productivity and all those things. And so I did it. I went into that business, and I through that business had a load of relationships with health professionals. And what I started to realize was I wasn't a corporate well-being company, which is what I thought I was. I was more like an agent for personal trainers, giving them work.
Right.
I was building relationships with personal trainers and then putting them into these corporates. And
You're a placement guy.
Yeah, exactly. And when I realized this, I kind of lost the passion for the business because it wasn't about health anymore. It was like you say, I was a placement guy, and because I started to realize that was what was happening, and I was essentially helping these fitness people get work. I was looking at their marketing and building relationships with them, and I was like, your marketing is terrible. Like, you are a personal trainer that is trying to work with, let's say, a 60-year-old dude who is overweight and has a beer belly, in his words. Yet your Instagram is six packs and broccoli and chicken and rice. It's like the message does not resonate at all.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, well, I've kind of used social my whole life. I get it. So let's start helping these guys with it. And I set up another business where I was working with these personal trainers, but doing social media management for them. So just managing their accounts. And that was when somebody was then like, can you do the paid side of things for me as well? And I was like, well, I've never done it before, but I'll give it a try. Hands up, if we don't get this right, then I've got no experience. Yeah. And we got results for them. And I was kind of like, this is cool, because with social media management, you are posting for people, but you can't really track the monetary return on investment from it. It's quite challenging.
Because you've got to get visibility into their business in order to find out what the return on that
Yeah,
investment
so you're
was.
kind of trading on like how many posts you're doing for the business and what are like the reach statistics and the engagement, which is okay, but it's kind of like the
financial metrics are the motivating thing for businesses.
Yeah.
It's like,
Whereas Facebook ads or any advertising, you're like, we spend $5, we make 10 back. We're good. And like if you're making money for a business, they're not going to get rid of you, which is a bonus.
Right.
And so I was like, this is really cool. I want to do more of this. And I realized that there was nobody in the UK at the time that was kind of the go-to advertising person. So I was like, I am going to go all in on trying to become the best I can be and brand myself as that person. So all the videos, all the blogs I create are all going to be on this advertising thing. And that was around probably 4 or 5 years ago. And since then, we've just continued to grow from really small personal training businesses, one-man bands, to now working with household names and really big businesses, which is which is really cool.
But that transition from being essentially an agency, you were an agency to a very tight focused customer avatar, right? And you had just developed the skill set to help them in this one particular thing, and so you were working with clients directly. But then, now you have the Funnel Academy, and you've developed this line of training to kind of offer people that assistance, but through education.
Yeah.
What was that transition like, where you were going from just working with clients to going, okay, now I'm going to start developing training programs and selling it in a more of a community way? What did that look like?
Yeah, so one of the things I realized for the agency was that a lot of businesses were coming to me and couldn't afford our services. And I didn't want to just be like, no. And I also didn't really want to recommend them to somebody cheaper, because for their budget, I'm like, it's a better decision for you to learn ads to do them yourself. If you're spending $100 a month, for example, there's no point in hiring somebody to do it for you, because you're just not going to see the profit. You need to learn it yourself if you want to do it. And so I built a course, a Facebook ads course. And what I realized with that was that people didn't want to learn Facebook ads. They wanted the results from the Facebook ads, but business owners didn't want to sit down for hours and learn Facebook ads. Okay. And also, when people did buy it, they never took the action on that course, going back to what we spoke about.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, how do I still do this? And that's when I was kind of looking at this membership model, and it just made sense to me to say, it's $49 a month. You can come in, you can either go through the whole roadmap, which is great, or you can go straight to the Facebook ads course, or you can go straight to the content marketing course and learn about that. And we launched 6 months ago. We're about 100 members right now. People are getting results, and
it's to a certain extent, once they pay to get in, they have an ecosystem of products and interactions and ways of learning that they can kind of choose the way that's right for them, right? And part of that, they're also getting, you said, a pro tier, where they get personal access to you too.
Yeah, so if people want the more implementational help and they want the access to me, then they've got a pro tier, which is like $197 a month. And for that, every 2 weeks we jump on a call. There's only 5 of us in that group right now, because I just launched it. I wanted to keep it nice and tight. And we'll jump into people's ad accounts, we'll fix their ads.
So it's real hands-on.
Really hands-on, yeah. I'll give you an example. There's one business that she joined the membership, and she's a foot doctor, a podiatrist, I think is the official term.
Yes.
And I always get that wrong. And she lives in a very remote Scottish island. And she's the only person on the island that
Gavin's
offers
from Scotland, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah. she's the only person in this island. The population of the island is 20,000 people. Only person offers this one service. And I'm like, if you just put an ad out for $1 a day to this audience of 20,000 people, you will reach probably all of them.
Wow.
In fact, her audience is like mostly 50 plus age, so that's going to cut your audience down to like 10,000 people probably.
Yeah.
If you put a $1 a day ad, you're probably going to reach all of those people, and all you have to do is offer a free session, get people through the door, and then once they're having that free session with you, upsell them on to multiple other sessions. That's your business model. That's all you need to do.
Right.
And I was like, but she was not going to go and invest $600, $500 into a Facebook ads course. But $49 a month is affordable for her.
Right.
And that little thing can completely change her life. And I was like, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because there's, for the right business, the things that I teach can have a huge impact on these people's lives. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to build an academy that was affordable for people, as opposed to just doing the agency services, because if it's just the agency, then I would never be able to help her.
Yeah, and so now you're being able to help people at scale, which is so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I always ask my my guests a question, and I didn't hip you to this question before, and I generally do, because it's a big question. Do you have a personal kind of manifesto or a personal mantra that you try to run your either personal or professional life by? I know it's a big question.
Yeah.
It's philosophical.
Yeah. I think in my space in particular, there's a lot of, I don't want to say bad people, but bad practices is maybe the best term. I would say, so anybody that inquires with our services, I would say 9 times out of 10, and that's not an exaggeration, they've been burnt by an agency before. So somebody has run their ads, they've lost money, it's not worked. And I think because there's this massive market out there on learn how to build a 6-figure agency with this course. And so you've got a lot of young guys that are buying these courses, branding themselves as agencies, and then working with clients, never had any results, and it doesn't work. And so my philosophy is always has just been, I'll be as transparent as possible when it comes to dealing with clients and saying, look, I don't think I can help you, actually. You've got a big budget, but I don't think I can help you for whatever reason that might be, or you're not ready to run Facebook ads. So I think you should go and focus on building an audience first. I think, so probably the overall mantra there is just be a good person, do your best work possible. And if we do work with a client and it doesn't work out, it's going, okay, we tried our best, here it didn't work out, here's why we think it didn't work out, this is what we suggest to go and do going forward. So setting expectations from the start. And so just trying to be a good influence on a market that has a lot of bad practices in it.
Yeah. And I think that's also, that's being, to a certain extent, an altruist, but you're helping people succeed in their lives and trying to help solve a problem that's endemic, I think, in our industry to an extent, is that we have a lot of people who are promising things that they can't deliver or don't deliver, and then what it does is it poisons the pool of consumers that we can talk to. So this is your second social media marketing world, and so why did you, number one, why did you come, and number two, why did you come back?
Yeah, I came last year for the first year because I'd heard so much about it, and I'd never been, and I was like, let's go and try this thing out and see what it's like.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people in this community just through online, and I was like, it'd be great to go meet these people in real life, and I did, and had an absolute blast. The community that social media marketing world has is just such a great community. So many great people willing to give so much, and grateful to say that a lot of the people in this community are now friends. And so coming back was just like a no-brainer, to be honest.
That's how I felt this year too.
Yeah, it's just, quite honestly, I don't go to many of the sessions. I'm here to just hang out with people, meet people, and have a good time. And some people might say that that's not very productive, but it is for me, just coming and hanging out.
Well, to tell you, I'll just tell this story how Gavin and I met. I was doing some posts about coming to social media marketing world. I was just saying, hey, I'm coming. If anyone knows me or follows me in my content, I'm going to be there. If you see me, stop and say hi. And Gavin, who I don't even know, and didn't know up until like 4 or 5 days ago, commented on my post. And I went and checked out his Twitter profile and his academy and took a look at it, and I was like, wow, this is a guy I really want to kind of talk to, and he'd be a great person to interview for the Brand Design Masters podcast. And we shot back a couple of DMs, and then we met up here at the conference, and now we have a connection. And that's what I think is just so amazing about, number one, developing content and being active on social media, and then paying attention to where those openings for engagement happen, right? Because you can just suddenly, return a DM, and then you have a new friend, new contact. And I have some clients who have been needing some Facebook marketing help, and now I have a great resource for that in Gavin. And I'm not, I don't do a whole lot of Facebook marketing in terms of my agency. So that's one of the ways that you can really grow your network. I get a lot of comments on my channel and on YouTube and in the podcast in terms of people saying, I'm an introvert, I'm a creative professional, I have a hard time reaching out, I have a hard time, going into a room where I don't know anybody. And that's where social media, I think, is so great, because it allows you those openings in a very low pressure kind of way to make connections with people. And so this, sitting here with Gavin is such a perfect example of how those things work.
Totally. I think, this is the reason I love social media marketing world.
Right.
We met, we're now sat in a lobby filming a podcast.
Yeah.
There's random people walking past. It's totally like guerrilla, if you want to
It
call
is
it
totally
that.
guerrilla.
And it's epic. And now we'll be friends for life, and we'll hang out here at Social Media Marketing World next year, I'm
Absolutely.
sure. And and it all came from a tweet.
All tweet.
Just because either one of us or both of us were willing to, just put one tweet out with a hashtag SMMW. The other person replied, and now that has created this.
Well, I'm going to give you the props there, because I just put a tweet out there. You didn't know me. I don't even know that we were connected, and you responded to it. So you were the one who kind of made that connection with me, and then I took the extra step of saying, okay, let me check out his profile. Did some digging, but that's the kind of synergy that can happen by just your responding or making a comment on somebody else's social media post in a meaningful way. That can just launch a relationship.
Yeah.
So that's the beautiful thing about it.
And I think going to the kind of introvert type person, if you're going to a networking event or an event, the best thing to do is go on the hashtag, see what people are tweeting, and just start replying online.
Yeah.
Because then when you see that person in real life, you've got that connection, and there's none of this like awkward, saying hello but feeling feeling scared about it. You've got that connection already, and it doesn't take a lot to reply to it. The thing is, if somebody's putting a tweet out or any message, they want a response. So by being the person that can give the response, you then open the conversation in real life, which is cool.
Absolutely. Well, Gavin, thank you so much for coming on
My
the
pleasure.
show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you?
Head over to mrgavinbell.com or all my social media handles.
Oh, I love that. It's mrgavinbell.com.
Yeah.
That was great.
Because gavinbell.com was taken already, so I had to find something. And I didn't want to go for the that some people do, like the Gavin Bell.
Mr.
So
is good.
Mr. We went for Mr. And you can find me there.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys. And again, thank you, Gavin, for coming on.
Thank you.
Have a great conference.
Cheers, you too.